he says, because it's super interesting. And I think Google has this in the bag.
What does the next 12 months of progress look like? What do you believe that if we sit here a year from today, and I would love to, what will have changed in the world?
I think the things that we're pressing hard on are the convergence of modalities. So Gemini, which is our main foundation model, has always been multimodal from the beginning. It takes images, video, text, audio, and then can increasingly produce those types of outputs as well. And I think we're getting some really interesting cross-pollination by being multimodal. The best example of that is our latest image model, Nano Banana Pro, which I think shows some astonishing sort of understanding of visuals, and it can kind of create infographics that are really accurate and so on. So I think over the next year, you're going to see that progress a lot. And I think, for example, in video, when that converges with the language models, you're going to see some very interesting combinations of capabilities there.
So, of course, there are essentially 6 parts of the full omni-model stack. You have robotics, images, video, audio, 3D, and text. And the thing is that Google Gemini is rapidly advancing in all of these areas. And I think most people don't realize just how advanced Google is and why it's set to dominate the future. I mean, when you look at this compared to any frontier AI company, I would argue it is very difficult to compete with Google on several fronts that they are pretty much the leaders in. I think the first one that we're going to get into is robotics. Google are a little bit behind here, but Gemini Robotics 1.5 is probably going to get an update in 2026, and it's probably going to be pretty good because I've actually seen a lot of the robotics updates, and so far they are pretty promising.
We're introducing Gemini Robotics 1.5, a new family of models to power the next generation of physical agents. Now, for the first time, they can solve longer, multi-step challenges.
Aloha, could you sort these fruits into color matching plates?
Sure, I can certainly help you do that. Put the green fruit into the green plate.
We enable it to think. It can perceive the environment. It will think step by step and then finish this multi-step task.
Put the banana into the yellow plate.
Although this example seems very simple, the idea behind it is really powerful. The same model is going to power more sophisticated robots like a humanoid to do more complicated daily tasks.
Hi, Apollo. Can you help me sort my laundry, please?
Sure, I can help with that.
Put whites in white bins and the darks in the dark bin. Beautiful, okay. And then I can now switch this up on it. Sorry, Apollo. And it knows that I have done that and it will react. So you can see the whole flow of its thoughts here. And it's thinking every time it acts.
Gemini Robotics 1.5 can break a broad task down, think, and then take action over a number of steps. Another step change with Gemini Robotics 1.5 is that now all of our robots use the same model without needing to fine-tune it for different form factors. New agentic capabilities mean Gemini Robotics 1.5 can use the internet to answer questions and solve problems.
Hi, Aloha. Can you use my location and sort the objects into the correct compost, recycling, and trash bins?
To perform the sorting task based on San Francisco waste guidelines, I will use the green bin for compost, the blue bin for recycling, and the black bin for trash. The task is complete.
Good job, thanks.
Gemini Robotics 1.5 is a step towards bringing truly useful AI agents into the physical world, giving the community a powerful new tool to build the next generation of helpful robots.
Then, of course, we actually do have images, and the image you saw prior, I use Nano Banana Pro. And I think, when we're talking about the combination and multimodality, what I mean here is that, most people don't realize that, images with Nano Banana Pro, it actually reasons like an agent. So when it's creating your image, it actually makes, I think it makes the image and then it adjusts it, looks at it, it changes things. And it's like, okay, this is actually the image that works. And this is why it's so accurate. And this is why I'm saying, you're going to get full convergence in many different areas. So it's probably that they might even add this, technique to videos, to other things. Of course, speaking of videos, we've got VO3. So in fact, let me just turn the volume down because I don't want this to be too loud. But this is, of course, a VO3 video. I'm pretty sure you've already seen videos with VO3. If you haven't, I'm going to show you guys now. So this is, of course, an image to video. VO3 is still pretty much the leader when it comes to video demonstrations. And I think it's really, really good. And most people just really don't realize just how good VO3 is. And in the future, in 2026, of course, VO3 is probably going to be a lot better. Last time it took the #1 spot. And I have no doubt that Google is once again going to do it to the point where they take the #1 spot again and again. So it's going to be super interesting to see where that actually goes. Now, of course, we do have Gemini Live. This is Google's most underrated feature. This is the, combination of, multimodality, live speech, the ability to reason on the fly and actually help a human. And this demonstration, it is a little long, so if you do want to skip it, that's completely fine. But this demonstration a few days ago went viral because it was a guy who didn't know how to, change an oil and do the oil change in his car. And he uses, Gemini Live to be able to actually do this. And it was the first time that on a mass scale, we could see how individuals were in terms of being able to use AI, reason with it, and basically have the AI guide you through things that you otherwise wouldn't be able to do. So this is a quick demonstration. I think it's around 3 minutes long. I personally believe this guy probably already knew how to, oil change his car, but think about what this is like in 2026 when, the latency is better, the reasoning is better, and it has even more knowledge and is able to reason about more difficult things in a much better way. And once again, this is, completely in competition with OpenAI, and I think they're doing a beautiful job.
Hi, I'm Gemini.
Hey Gemini, this is my 2009 BMW 335i. Can you help me do an oil change?
Yeah, absolutely. What kind of oil and filter do you have on hand? And do you have the right tools, like a wrench for the drain plug and an oil filter wrench?
Yeah, I got the Castrol 5W40 recommended and the correct oil filter, and I have the correct tool for the oil filter housing.
Great, you've got everything we need. To get started, let's get the car lifted and access the oil drain plug.
Okay, and where's the oil filter?
The oil filter is located on the front of the engine, right below the intake manifold. It's always a good idea to remove the oil cap before you drain the oil.
Okay, great. I'll do that. Okay, up we go. Okay, I got the car up in the air. Where's the oil drain plug?
That's the plastic panel you'll need to remove. The drain plug is located underneath that panel.
There's the panel off, and looks like that's the drain plug. What size is that?
It looks like a 17mm drain plug.
I'm gonna pull it out now.
Make sure you have the drain pan in place to catch the oil. Let me know when it's drained.
Should drain it out.
Once the oil completely drains, you can wipe down the drain plug area and put the new washer on the drain plug.
Put the new washer on the drain plug. I'm gonna go ahead and put it back on the car now. What's the correct torque spec?
For your N54 engine, the correct torque spec for the drain plug is 18 foot-pounds.
Okay, that's 18. Okay, there's the flap back on now. Now I'm ready to drop the car.
You can lower the car and then we can focus on the oil filter.
So I got the oil filter removed now.
Okay, I see the old filter in your hand. Before installing the new filter, you'll need to replace the large O-ring on the cap that comes with the new filter. There's also a smaller O-ring at the tip of the cap that should also be replaced. I see the 2 O-rings in the plastic bag. Go ahead and replace the ones on the filter cap with those. You can use a small flathead screwdriver or a pick to gently pry the O-ring off. Got it. You're gently prying the O-ring off with the pick. It looks like you've got the green O-ring in place.
Okay, got the new O-rings and the new filter in.
Perfect. Now that the oil filter cap is ready, go ahead and screw it back into the housing on the engine.
Okay, I'm just tightening down the oil filter housing. What was that torque spec again?
It's actually 18 foot-pounds. Go ahead and set your torque wrench to that setting and let me know when you're done.
There we are. That's 18 pounds. Okay, I'm ready to top up the oil. So how much does an N54 take?
It's 6.9 quarts, which is 6.5 liters. Your N54 doesn't have a dipstick. You'll need to start the engine and let it run for a few minutes to let the oil circulate. Then you can use the vehicle's electronic oil level sensor to check the level.
Okay, Gemini, the oil looks full.
It looks like you're all set with your oil change.
Another job well done. Thanks so much, Gemini.
You're very welcome. It was my pleasure to assist you with your oil change.
And so, yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I think this just goes to show what is coming in 2026 in terms of the model getting better. And that demonstration really, really surprised me. And I think it surprised a lot of people. Now, another thing that Google talk about is, of course, world models. And I think world models are going to be the theme for 2026. Maybe I'll make a video on what's coming in AI in 2026. So world models, we're going to take a look at what Demis Hassabis says.
I think the other things we're going to see over the next year, and I'm personally working on, is world models. So we have this system called Genie 3, which is like an interactive video model you can think about. So you can sort of generate a video, but then you can start walking around it like you're in a game or simulation, and it stays coherent for a minute. I think that's very exciting.
Now, if you want to know what Google's world model is, you can just check out this video.
What you're seeing are not games or videos. They're worlds. Each one of these is an interactive environment generated by Genie 3, a new frontier for world models. With Genie 3, you can use natural language to generate a variety of worlds, and explore them interactively, all with a single text prompt. Let's see what it's like to spend some time in a world. Genie 3 has real-time interactivity, meaning that the environment reacts to your movements and actions. You're not walking through a pre-built simulation. Everything you see here is being generated live as you explore it. And Genie 3 has world memory. That's why environments like this one stay consistent. World memory even carries over into your actions. For example, when I'm painting on this wall, my actions persist. I can look away and generate other parts of the world. But when I look back, the actions I took are still there. And Genie 3 enables promptable events, so you can add new events into your world on the fly. Something like another person or transportation. Or even something totally unexpected. You can use Genie to explore real-world physics and movement, and all kinds of unique environments. You can generate worlds with distinct geographies, historical settings, fictional environments, and even other characters. We're excited to see how Genie 3 can be used for next-generation gaming and entertainment. And that's just the beginning. Worlds can help with embodied research, training robotic agents before working in the real world, or simulating dangerous scenarios for disaster preparedness and emergency training. World models can open new pathways for learning, agriculture, manufacturing, and more. We're excited to see how Genie 3's world simulation can benefit research around the world.
And I think it's crazy because to jump from Genie 2 to Genie 3 was pretty incredible. So I can imagine Genie 4, Genie 5, those kind of world models that are going to get super, super good, powered by, cross modality. I think it's going to get really incredible with how good these world models get. So if you aren't, familiar with what this is, these world models are basically like, virtual worlds that you can explore, and it has memory, it has reasoning. It's just crazy. Like you couldn't think of this, in the past. I do think that it's probably very compute expensive to run, but nonetheless, it's still fascinating. And of course, we do have agent-based systems, which is what Google is working on.
Maybe the other thing is agent-based systems. So I think the field's